Hi, I'm Laura Stewart from the blog, Laura Stewart Blog, and today I wanted to go over some simple basics in keeping farm fresh eggs. Here on the farm we have 5 chickens, so we have a relatively small flock. I started with a small flock on purpose just because I am new to chicken raising and anything having to do with chickens, especially when we first moved to the farm. I did have a lot of questions about how to keep the eggs, how long to keep the eggs, how to prepare the eggs given that they were coming fresh from a chicken. So I just wanted to cover a few of the basics that I've learned along the way and the questions that I had, so that if you guys eventually venture into chicken raising, some of this can just be easily answered for you. The first thing that I want to cover is there's been some debate whether or not you should wash the eggs as soon as you bring them in. I don't personally do this. There's a few reasons behind that, but for me, most of my chickens lay relatively clean eggs that they don't look like they need to be washed. Also, there is something that's a coating on chicken eggs that is laid obviously with them, and it's called a bloom. And the bloom is a protective coating that covers the pores on the shell, and it prevents bacteria and microbes from seeping in, as well as containing the moisture in the egg. This is to keep the egg fresher longer for hens that are laying hens and for fertilized eggs. We don't have a rooster on the farm. Few reasons behind that. One, my daughter would be terrified and never go outside again if she got attacked by a rooster. And two, I don't really have a desire to raise eggs at this time to produce my own chicks. That may be coming in the future. I just didn't want to tackle too much too soon. So my eggs, when I bring them in, usually I keep the newest, freshest eggs on the counter, and I keep them in this little egg holder, if you will. I did get this off Amazon. I can absolutely link it below. Few reasons I purchased this. One, I loved the minimal white look of it. Two, it's relatively heavy. So with it sitting on the counter, it's not going to be easily pushed or knocked off, which is something that will occasionally happen. I also have friends and family that bring me their egg cartons when they're no longer using them, or recycle them for me, because obviously family and friends love to come and get farm fresh eggs from us, which is great because there's no way we can eat all of these. We do live in Texas, and their egg cycle, as far as how much they lay, will change based on the weather, time of day, etc. My girls, for the most part, unless there's something really wrong with them, will lay at least an egg a day. Occasionally, I've had a chicken lay 2 eggs a day. I do gather them every single day, and all of my girls are really good about laying in the nesting boxes versus finding some weird places around the farm to lay them. In that case, I tend to toss them, not knowing how long they've been there. You can do the water test where you put a bucket of water. If it sinks, it's good. If it floats, it's not good. I haven't had to do that because, again, with only 5 hens, we go through these quick enough or give them away quick enough to not have to worry about that. You can freeze your eggs, and obviously you would need to mix the yolk and the egg whites. You put them in a Ziploc bag, get as much air as you can out. If you lay it flat in the freezer, once it's frozen, you'll be able to stack a bunch of these in your freezer. I tend to do 2 eggs at a time because most recipes are going to call for that. Again, I typically don't have to do this just because we go through eggs so quickly. Leaving them on your counter, I leave them for up to 21 days. Some people do a little bit more, some people do a little bit less. I've had 0 issues with that at all. Keep in mind, I have not washed them. Once you wash the bloom off of a fresh egg, it absolutely needs to go in the refrigerator. Once you put your eggs in the refrigerator, they need to remain in the refrigerator. They can stay in the refrigerator for up to 6 months. Again, we don't have that problem. So if you're somebody that's raising a very large flock and you have an overabundance of eggs, just know that you can keep them in there that long. Some people will write dates on the eggs. I don't personally do that. I would say that if you have cartons, write the dates on there, or have some form of tracking where you know exactly when these eggs were collected or when they were laid. I will wash these prior to cracking for a few reasons. One, occasionally there's some not clean spots on there, and I definitely don't want that in my food. But I also just want to make sure that if there were anything on this, that I've rinsed it off prior to putting it on anything that I'll be cooking. They do taste different to me. They are absolutely amazing. The yolk on your farm fresh eggs is going to be a lot more of an orange color, especially for healthy chickens, than it will be yellow. Keep in mind that the eggs that you're getting from the store have already been sitting somewhere for a month, probably prior to being packaged and sent to the grocery store. So getting them fresh from the farm, you can keep them a lot longer, you can use them a lot longer, and you can keep them on the counter a lot longer. I hope that I've answered all of your basic egg storing and use questions that you have. If you have more, please don't hesitate to reach out. Leave a comment below. I will link a few of these things in the description so that you guys can check them out on Amazon. I'm also over at laurastewartblog.com and across social media channels under the same name. Thanks so much for hanging out today. I can't wait to see you in the next video.